Over to the hardwood, and let's take a look at the WNBA semifinals and where we stand after the series openers. The New York Liberty defended home court in a big way, taking down defending champion Las Vegas Aces by double digits. Breanna Stewart scored a game-high 34 points in the win, looking to make a statement after the Liberty fell just short of a title run last season. Game 2 tips off tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern over on ESPN2 with the Liberty favored by 4, total set at 163.5. In the other semifinals matchup, it's a completely different story. The Minnesota Lynx were stunned on their home floor by the Connecticut Sun, who used a 16-8 fourth quarter run to eke by the Lynx in Game 1. Marina Mabrey scored a game-high 20 points for the Sun, while Alyssa Thomas finished an assist shy of a triple-double. Minnesota looks to even up the series at home tonight and is a 4.5-point favorite. Total on this one is all the way down at 152.5. So now we welcome in WNBA analyst Maria Marino into the studio. Now, Maria, how are you doing? How are you feeling with WNBA in their semis right now?
I mean, I'm feeling great. I thought we had 2 phenomenal game 1s, and I think we have a pair of really good game 2s in store.
Yeah, so we'll get to game 2 in just a second, but let's take a broader look at this series as a whole, right? We saw Liberty make a statement win against the Aces, and then the Sun obviously stunning the Lynx at home in that game 1. You mentioned such an entertaining game. Which of these teams do you think between, say, the Aces and the Lynx has a chance to even the series here up in game 2?
It's got to be the Lynx, right? I mean, you talked about the upset. They were favored in game 1, and it's not like the Minnesota Lynx are a worse team than the Sun. These are 2 very evenly matched teams. This was a winnable game for Minnesota. I mean, they had it. They lost by 3 points. So I just think they're going to be coming out so aggressive with that revenge mindset. I mean, it's such a mental, issue, right? When you're the home team and you lose game 1, I would be absolutely stunned if they go down 0-2 in this series. They're too good a team to let that happen. Now, as far as the spread is concerned, I'm a little hesitant there because all 4 of the matchups this season between these 2 teams were decided by 5 points or fewer. However, we know that the Sun have struggled historically in this spot. They are 0-6 ATS in Game 2 in their last 6 playoff series. As far as the Liberty and the Aces are concerned, I actually do think that the Liberty are going to roll, but I have a bit of hesitation because obviously they have the MVP. They have a coach in Becky Hammon who's just really, really good at making adjustments. Also, the Liberty in game 1, everything pretty much went their way, and that's credit to them. They were the aggressor. They shot the ball 50% from the floor, 42% from 3. I wouldn't be surprised if just not everything goes their way in game 2. And also, I would say this, the Aces are very good, annoyingly good at, drawing contact, selling contact. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to muck things up a little bit. Maybe there's some foul trouble. So I like the Liberty to win as well, but still hesitant against the spread.
Right, and you think the Liberty probably have a little bit more motivation to make a statement. They're home. They've lost to the Aces time and time again. The Aces also not as dominant a team as we've seen in recent history with them being the back-to-back champions. And then on the other side, Minnesota, it really feels like this is the time to come out hot in a 5-game series. You'd have to force a game 5 to come back home. So to even it, at least entering Connecticut, it feels like maybe, I always think back to when we handicap playoff basketball, betting maybe the first half for the Lynx because you're expecting them to come out hot on their home floor. Could they then just completely ride a blowout victory?
Yeah.
Maybe, but again, it's interesting. You mentioned the Sun being 0-6 against the spread. You mentioned that last time when they played the Fever in that game too. But let's talk a little bit more about this game. Obviously, you mentioned you think the Lynx pull this one out. The spread is a little too close for comfort because you expect a close game. But there are some player props that you like in this one. We'll start with the first one. Who do you like? And you're not going with Napheesa Collier here.
Right. So because I like the Lynx to win, I'm going to target a couple of Lynx players.
Makes sense.
I like Napheesa Collier, full disclosure, but because the Sun have to focus so much on her, I feel like they're still going to say, we're going to let everybody else beat us, and that opens things up for the role players. So the first player I'm looking at is Courtney Williams, over 10.5 points. So in game 1, she only scored 8 points. She was 3 of 12 from the floor. That's 25%. I think she's going to still have that volume. She typically shoots that many attempts, but she's averaging 11 points on 44% from the field this season. So I think if she could convert 1 or 2 more buckets, you hit this fairly easily. And the other thing to keep in mind is the Lynx only scored 8 points in the fourth quarter. I expect a lot more opportunity in that fourth quarter, and that includes Courtney Williams, who I expect to be involved late in this game. So she's the first player, and I'll just go right into the second player I like. And that's Bridget Carleton. Same line, 10.5 points. Very interesting. So she's gone over this in her last 3 games against the Sun. She has hit this in 7 of her last 10 games overall. And what I like the most about Bridge, I affectionately call her Bridge, is that she mostly shoots threes. So, she's going to get maybe 1 or 2 fewer attempts than someone like Courtney Williams, but she's always, she's dangerous from the 3-point line. I do wonder if the Sun defense is going to clamp down on her a bit more, because she did score 17 in game 1, but because this line is only 10.5, I still think, even if they do say, focus in a little bit more on her, even if she, makes 1 or 2 fewer shots, she's still, going to go over this. So once again, Napheesa Collier is so dangerous. She just makes it so tough, because she's everywhere, that you get a lot of the D collapsing, and then, Bridge is open on the outside.
It makes a lot of sense to target Williams and Carleton here, just from hearing you talk. When you have Napheesa Collier, you have a player that's so ball dominant like her, you have to take her away. And then that opens up the catch and shoot threes for Carleton and maybe Courtney Williams, a little pick and roll action. So 11 points is also not too much to ask for from either of them.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think Napheesa was more like 21, 22 points, which she is certainly capable of getting. And then, Charlie, I'm just going to throw this out there. On the other side of things, Marina Mabrey is a killer. I might actually bet her, just because I think even if the Sun lose this game, she's just been so good. And I think her points prop is slightly deflated, because she only just started being a starting role because there was an injury. So I really like her. I still think it's going to be a good game. I almost came to you and was like, which one of these do you like better? Because I like all these. I like all of these, but
well, you can sprinkle on all 3 if you want to. Exactly. That's why you follow Maria in the Action app, because if she ends up adding Marina Mabrey, then you can hop aboard as well.
I might just.
Yes, only time will tell on that one. And she was, the Stone Cold Killer in that Fever game, too. Oh. I remember watching down the stretch, she hit that big 3, and then it was lights out for Caitlin Clark. But Maria Marino, these games are going to be a treat tonight. So enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good.